Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NEWSBEAT Nightly. Starting 2 minutes late today. That is very atypical of me. But with such atypicalness comes a very atypical market. Hey, Fareed. How you guys doing? So, what do I mean by an atypical market? Well, as sort of, a trader, I've been telling you guys pretty much in the past 2 weeks. Take your foot off the gas pedal. Take your foot off the gas pedal. It's not one of those days where you want to go crazy. It's not one of those days where you want to go crazy. And you just want to sort of take it easy and just chill. And that's pretty much, for the most part, of what I was doing today. And I was just basically chilling. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. So, where do we start? Etna. Pretty disappointing. I only made like 20% of my money. A little less actually, like 15%. Stock gapped up, opened up at 185. As I was saying this morning, just chuck it. Just get rid of it. So I went ahead and I chucked it. I got rid of it. There was no reason to hold that, no. There was no reason to hold it. It got hyped up. I thought I was going to make 10 times my money, at least, based on the news. And I said the only thing would be is if CVS gapped down big, because CVS is valued is intertwined into this deal. It's not a $207 all cash deal. $207 today is worth $207 tomorrow. Portion of CVS's stock price is a much different thing, and you saw CVS obviously did tumble alongside the majority of the market. So the market started falling today, and one of the first things you guys asked me was, what's going on? I find that very funny. I find it funny that something needs to potentially go on if the market is just going to drop. Was anybody asking what was going on when the Qs rallied from 130 to 140 to 150 to 156? When we were making all-time highs, did you guys ask what's going on? No. This is just a simple, measured sell-off. Don't read too much into it. And I told you guys that there were going to be two events that come out that would cause this. A was the North Korean missile. The next North Korean missile test, which came out right there on November 28th. And then we plummeted as predicted on November 29th, as we predicted early in the morning. Then, after that plummet, we predicted we would gap up the next morning, and we had a good one-day hold. And we did. We sold out. And then the next day, which was last Friday, we plummeted, and then we came back, and then we gapped up big today. And I just said, don't trust this. And again, the market, it might take a week, a month, a day, I don't know, for the market to regain my trust. Now, there are many ways to approach a market like this. Me, I think going long in this market is the easiest thing in the world. And I'll always have that newbie trader who comes out, or the Captain Obvious trader who comes out. And I'm not saying this negatively, I'm actually saying it endearingly. And I want to explain it to you, saying, why didn't you just short something today? Are you crazy? Why didn't I short? Is that a joke? There was no major negative news on any individual name today to short. That's why you don't short anything today. You want to sit there and predict a market collapse? You want to sit there and predict the market's going to collapse today? How many times did that work out for you this year? I don't think you were supposed to short the market. It's easy to look at it and be like, wow, I want to be part of the group that shorts the market. I promise you, any room out there that was shorting the market today is the same room that was shorting it many other days and losing lots of money. That's not the place to be part of. The Qs are near all-time highs. You don't sit there and, just like they say, you don't buy a falling knife. You don't short, a a shooting knife. I don't know. Call it whatever you want. You could call it Susan for all I care. But the bottom line is you don't go ahead and just open up randomly short. You don't do it. I thought going long was the much easier trade. But as I said this morning, take it very easy, take it very slow. I don't trust this market. And then what happened? We started collapsing. This is the beautiful thing, because what I do now is I start looking at all these names and I say, where can we buy them? Finally, names are collapsing. I'm going to find us really nice support levels on these names. Like on Facebook, for example. Facebook actually is on a very nice support line here. Wouldn't surprise me to see Facebook lean up tomorrow. And at the same time, even though the Qs are currently gapped up after hours, who wants to trade a candlestick formation that looks like this? So what I do is, I'm still trading obviously, but what I do is I look at all these names people love, Amazon, Facebook, and I say, okay, where do I want to buy this? Google, okay, where do I want to buy it? And that's pretty much, I think we could start taking our drawings, deleting them, and just almost just getting a fresh look at the entire chart. A lot of things have happened. And we're breaking, many key support levels. And this move isn't surprising to me. In fact, there's no reason why Google shouldn't break 1,000. There's no reason why Amazon shouldn't get to 1050, 1060. Now, does it happen this week? I doubt it. It might. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't not surprise me. It's just one of those things where the name needs to sell off, as does everything else. Microsoft with no reprieve today, just falling, collapsing. And when you see a market like this, it just pays to watch. You either hyper scalp or you exit positions and you just back off. Ironically, the Overstock name we took yesterday did get to the $47 to $48 target. It hit $47.65. I just sold it. Still watching names like Stitch Fix. Look how bullish that is. Look how bullish Stitch Fix is. Stitch Fix could go through all-time highs tomorrow. The other one, Sale, digesting, not doing so bad. Still looks decent to me. So, those two names holding up pretty well. And again, in a market like this, I think you just sort of take a step back. I think what happened today was a bull trap. And if you remember my words from the morning, every single trader out there is coming in today seeing this gap up and thinking that they missed the big down move. And as correctly predicted, those were the suckers. And again, if you were buying this morning, I'm not putting you down by calling you, sucker. I'm not saying that with a negative connotation. I'm just more saying, I'm trying to come in every day and I'm trying to sort of, offer my guidance and my game plan and let you know how I'm going to approach the day. And it was mostly silent. There wasn't a lot of news flow. It was just selling across the board, non-biased selling in the triple Qs, in the NASDAQ 100, and associated names. That's all that happened today. It's not a big deal. There's still going to be plenty of opportunity to make money to the long side on a lot of these names. Just don't chase them. Just don't chase them. If you have a longer term portfolio, it probably didn't look good today, obviously. Obviously. You don't need to beat yourself up over that. Just don't overtrade on the intraday. I watched some of the crypto names like Riot. And I saw it pulling down in the morning. And I said, you know what? Screw it. That's not what a bull flag continuation pattern looks like. So I ignored it. So names like MARA, it's falling, the market's falling, pass. I think it's very important that you guys, and that skill, I would probably say that's one of the hardest skills to learn as a trader. So many traders love simplicity. Like they could come in and I could be like, guys, don't push the pedal today. Take it very easy. But, it comes with, like, generally when I say that, I'll be right 95% of the time or more. Generally, when I say that. Because I've made so many mistakes before. Not because I just know exactly, when you make so many mistakes before, I mean, that's how I guess I learned to where I am today. I mean, I don't take the stance that, that my stuff doesn't stink. I mean, I've been a trader for 18 years. When I see action like this, when I see big pull downs and then this tremendous gap up out of left field, I hesitate and say, what are you going to do? Buy really high and hope the market goes a little bit higher? And what if you bought really high and the market plummets? The risk reward just became skewed. But that's okay. And you should actually embrace this move because this is exactly what you want. Whether you know it or not, this is exactly what you want. Because, for example, you know how you catch the next 50-point pop in Amazon? You need it to drop to $1,000 to $1,050 before you buy it. That's how you catch the next 50-point up move in Amazon. That's how you're going to do it. How are you going to catch the next 5% move higher in Apple, the next 6-7 point move in Apple? I'll tell you how. You're going to wait for Apple to drop. And that's going to remain true for every single one of these names. And you're going to be in love with me when you start seeing the levels in which we start buying these names. I promise you, if you're not already in love with me. Makes my wife a little jealous, but she'll get over it. I'm telling you. Wait till these names plummet and we start using our trend lines. You're going to be like, oh my god. Because catching up moves off of down moves on a trend line, take a stupid example, Overstock. Doesn't look like much, right? You look at the bar today, you're like, what happened? It bounced from 42.20 to 47.65. It had almost a $5.50 bounce. It had like a 12% bounce off Friday's low. That's Overstock. You know what a 12% bounce in Amazon looks like? It's a 130-point pop in Amazon if it bounces 12%. So with these down moves come dramatic up moves. And then, of course, you have the easy, simple market in which we were having, before the last couple weeks, where you would just grind up. And Amazon would get to 1100. You know how long it took Amazon to do that? Like, I'm just using Amazon as... Alright, it gapped up on earnings, right? It got to 1100. How long did it take it to get to 1200? How long did you wait for a 9% move? Let's call it 10%, alright? After earnings on Amazon. How long did it take you to get to 1200? It took you from October 27th all the way to November 27th. What a coincidence. Exactly 1 month to move 9%. But when Amazon drops in, pray if you want to buy Amazon, it keeps dropping more. When you're ready to buy it, and if you're accurate, like we are, you're going to catch that 10% move, 5% move in less than a week, most likely, depending on how far it drops. Amazon could go from 1200 to 1000 to 1100 and still be bearish short term. You could drop 200 and bounce 100. I'm saying when you're ready to bounce 100, it's going to be vicious. I'm making that number up. It could be 50 points is more logical and easier to catch. But you catch the drift I'm making. And I'm just using Amazon as a dramatic example. The same remains true for every single FANG name, which is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. Same remains true for all of them. So just keep that in mind, that when this market is ready to bounce, it's going to do so viciously. And you shouldn't get worked up right now. I think it's easier to go long in this market, in a down market. I mean, the majority of you who made money probably made money to the long side today. Tell me I'm wrong. And a lot of you will look at the market and be like, how did you do that? Because you were scalpers. If you were scalping, you made money to the long side. Oh, look, and NVIDIA hits S3 support, 185.49, bounces to 190 in a matter of 20 minutes. 5 points in 20 minutes. 3% bounce in NVIDIA in 20 minutes. Moves like that offer a tremendous opportunity. And if you don't want to be part of those quick scalps, that's fine. Just let this thing plummet. Let all these names plummet. Let all these names come cheaper. It's so funny. So many people were so interested in buying Apple when it was $175 and $176. Now that it dropped to $170, you're like, oh, I don't know. Don't worry. Apple should head lower. And we'll buy it. So I guess all I'm saying is remain steadfast. Embrace this down move. Take it slow, but know where the end of the tunnel is going to be. And that's going to be, I'm going to start drawing trend lines on all these names. I'll be able to nail a lot of these bottoms. Makes me sound like a gigolo when I say that, but I'm going to nail the bottom of a lot of these charts. Right? I mean, I wasn't asking your opinion. Like, I'm telling you I'm going to do that. And I'm confident that if and when my levels hit, I mean, I'll jump in, $25,000 to $50,000 worth of Apple calls, and I'll try to make $300,000-400,000 on an Apple trade. I'll do that. Is it going to be Apple? Is it going to be Facebook? Is it going to be Amazon? I have no idea. But when they come in, and it's inevitably they always do, I'll be part of that move. So, keep that in mind. In terms of tonight's name, I have one of them, CCJ Bullish. We were talking bullishly about CCJ ever since we turned bullish on on uranium here on November 9th. And it basically digested down, came all the way up, digested down, came up. And if you look at CCJ, a lot of action in here. And this is one of the names we discussed in the uranium sector. So I gave a simple breakout through today's high. Want to copy my game plan? Want to copy my Forex? There you go. Had a couple losses in Forex recently. I embrace it. And I know that we're going to, keep making money. Like I said, I don't mind 4 to 7 steps forward and 1 to 2 back. I could do that all day and night. So, that's what's on my radar. Is there anything on your radar? Any questions I can answer for you guys? Now would be the time to ask. Of course, if you're listening on YouTube, you can email me, have your question answered live. mark.melnick@t3live.com. That's my thoughts, Priyanka. Don't short in a bull market when the fall is happening for no reason. It's not that it's happening for no reason. It's that it's happening irrationally. I mean, honestly, everybody's looking at the market now and they're surprised we've gotten this far with all the news out there. What I'm saying is, I'll keep it on a different mentality. The market goes up, the market goes down. The market is threatening like it wants to go lower. It's threatening. Will it? Who knows? Maybe we'll go up tomorrow and we'll never have a down day for as long as we live. But logically, we'll eventually digest. We'll have up and down days in between, and we'll eventually digest. What I'm saying is now's the time to start really, focusing on certain levels, and that's what I'm going to be doing all day. I'm going to be, like silent, and then all of a sudden I'll come out and be like, hey guys, Symantec could bounce when it was right at day lows today. All right, it went from 27.50s all the way up to 27.93. Not the biggest move, but here's our trend line on the daily, and you could see it bounced and it held. Now, great, again, not the biggest move in the world, but that's a swing point for Symantec that happened today. And I'm going to get swing points for a lot of these names. Look how, you want to see what that swing point in Symantec looks like? Like this. This is a weekly chart going all the way back to 2013. Look at that. Now maybe Symantec falls more. Maybe it wants to go lower. It could. Maybe it doesn't. But regardless, this is where, your risk reward starts to really lean towards your favor, in my opinion. I mean, even if you get a bounce at 28.5, that's a really nice move. Kathy, yeah, that's going to keep Kathy up at night. That Zuckerberg lost billions. Just have a glass of wine, Kathy. We're going to get through this. Use me, Zuckerberg together. We're going to get through this. Yep, I agree, Kathy. It's going to be a fun month or so for earnings release to catch some of these prior to the reports. Align and ISRG. Guess they're going broke with zero earning. Well, we all know that's not going to happen, but look how much cheaper this name became today. Nothing fundamentally changed with all these companies. With ISRG, etc., it just got cheaper. And that's what you want to see. Yeah, you'll continue to learn. I would say bubbles. Just, be careful. And I think this is too important. And I'm not pointing you. I'm pointing this to everyone. Be very careful who you let influence you in the market. I think that's one of the, people were asking me. We had like 6 people from YouTube sign up last week after some of the calls we made. But like, you have to be very careful of who you let influence you. A lot of traders, a lot of things are a marketing ploy, and a lot of it is BS. You got to be very careful. Following the wrong traders could stunt your growth. It would be almost like you eating healthy and deciding to drink 2 gallons of vodka and a carton of cigarettes every day. The healthy food can only do so much. I'm using an analogy. Your livers and lungs would probably implode upon itself like a dying neuron star within a month. But excuse the analogy. You got to be very careful of who you follow. You got to be very careful of who you follow. Very careful. And you have to be very selective of how you follow them. There's my general rule of thumb. My general rule of thumb is it's almost impossible to know because people are very selective with what they show you. Like, I'll give you an example. Like 99% of broadcasters won't show their P&L. Right? And the ones that do show you a really good month they had. Or a really good 2 months they had. But they don't show you what happened for the entire year. And then what it does is it instills in you a false sense of confidence which should be non-existent. And the only reason I care about this is because people are trading real money. If somebody is pitching you to go see a TV show or a movie, You pay your money, it's done, you leave, it's over. Somebody pitches you into an unhealthy environment, it could destroy your life. You see the difference? So I have to be very careful. I mean, I talk to other broadcasters. It shocks me that they don't even think like me. Like, for example, like it's a taboo subject that nobody likes to talk about. It's like talking about life insurance. It's like somebody coming up to you and talking about life insurance, and that's like a taboo subject. But it shouldn't be. Life insurance should be approached like car insurance and health insurance. And just in case you get into a car accident, or heavens forbid you get, something extremely unhealthy happens to you, sickness or injury, the same type of thing should be approached with a trading room. Now, if you don't know, the majority of traders blow up. The majority of traders who try going on an intraday basis blow up their accounts. I blew up my account. I've done it. I've done it before. The truth is, the majority of successful traders have blown up their accounts. So when you're dealing with a new trader in a room who hasn't blown up their account yet, or maybe they have, or maybe they haven't blown up yet, but it's on the edge of blowing up. This is a very taboo subject. So a lot of times I'll talk with my colleagues, and I'll say, I'll ask them, I'll say, aren't you afraid that somebody in your room could blow up if you say the wrong thing? I get it, it's inevitable. There'll always be somebody who presses a button on their keyboard, does their own thing, is in their own mess, is in their own head. But for God's sake, take preventative measures. I get it, there's anti-lock brakes which stop real quick. Doesn't mean there aren't going to be any car accidents in the United States. And there are car accidents all over the world. I'm just using the US as an example. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, when I'm running a broadcast, I am taking extreme proactive measures to ensure, to prevent the best way I know how, to prevent people from blowing up. When you jump out of a plane, you have a parachute, doesn't mean it's going to pull out and you'll live. But generally you will. And when I talk about, broadcasting with certain safeguards for the community in which is, dedicating their finances, their money, and their time, you have to be extremely, extremely careful. And the truth is, the majority of these rooms get by through good marketing, because the majority of these rooms know that, look, some traders will succeed, most will fail. There'll be, a line walking, it's like the revolving door with one line going in and the other line going out. And as long as there's a line going in, and that's the good marketing and all the join today in clever catch lines. We're not going to throw you in the fray. We're going to make sure you're well prepared. We're going to make it easy. Trading is not easy. The hardest part about trading is beating yourself, is controlling yourself. That's the hardest part about trading. But when people out there say, yeah, we make trading easy, it's very easy, know exactly where to buy, know exactly where to sell, know exactly where your stop loss is, know exactly where your take profit is. Oh, wow, that's simple. Very few people can actually replicate that methodology. Not to sound cocky, but I think I am the only person I know of in existence who actually replicated simplicity to its fullest extent. And it looks like this. Literally, it looks like this. It literally, when I could take a high school girl and knowing that she's making money pretty consistently in this Forex market, and she knows nothing about trading, that's how you make it simple. Simple will always cater to your lowest common denominator. That's simple. When we're trading stocks and we're scalping and we're doing things like this, there's nothing simple about it. You try to make it as easy as possible. You try to give conviction when you can. You try to help people keep people safe. You try to give people the smartest levels. You try to prepare them in the best way possible. But when I talk to, again, some of these colleagues, and I say, you know, like straight up, like I was talking to one of my colleagues, I'm not going to drop his name. I was talking to one of them, and we're talking about the room, and he was asking me because we have the quickest growing room right now out there. We have the quickest growing community, and our marketing is pretty much non-existent. I'm pretty much marketing myself by offering you guys free YouTube sessions, which I will be changing hopefully very soon into something a lot more professional. And they were asking me, what are you doing? What are you giving? Like, how are all these people signing up? And I basically told them, you have to care about the person you're talking to. You have to love what you do, and you have to care about the person on the other end. Because if you don't, and they're just another number, and they're expendable, once you start treating people like that, that's when you failed. Like even the Symantec today, I just got an alert on Symantec. Peter asked me that question, how long ago did you ask me to set an alert on Symantec? How long ago? How many weeks ago was that? I think that was actually back in like early November, but I remember that you asked me for it. And I had nothing on my screen to tell me. That's because I care and I listen and I set an alert. That's just one member of my room. When people tell me the positions they're in, I'm watching out for news for them. If you don't care about the person on the other end, guess what? They're not going to grow. If you have a plant that you water whenever you feel like it and whatever, it's not going to grow as much as something that has love and care. It's funny, actually. Cool fact for you guys. It's scientifically proven that if you play music for your plants, they're stronger, healthier, less prone to disease, and grow quicker. Music. But plants don't have ears, Mark. When you care and you love something and you love what you do, success is inevitable. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just give everything here my all. And I'm trying to do what I know best. So I just wanted I know I went off on a little diatribe there. I thought that was very important to hear. And I'm not looking for kudos. I'm just looking to share with you my thoughts, my honest thoughts about what you do as a trader. So, there. I hope you learn more, Bubbles. Mark, why can't we look to short on the bounce? You can. You can, Ken. When was the last time you saw 4 daily candles that look like this? Never in your life? Why try to catch the short? Maybe it's the right call. I don't know. I turned short-term bullish on CMG right over here after they announced the new CEO, or that they were looking for a new CEO. And the stock hit 333.33, 5 number threes in a row. Looks okay. Maybe buy a pullback. Pet IQ, bearish. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Sorry. That's what it looks like. Could good news turn this thing around? Of course. 22.23 resistance. So Roku, I was watching Roku today, and I actually made a bottom call in Roku today. And that was right over here in the morning when the stock. Here's a 5 minute of the morning, right? The stock broke 43.82. I'm like, Roku could bounce here, and in 15 minutes it went to 44.75. That was the entire trade. I think I sold a little over 44.20. I didn't catch it to 44.75, but we nailed the bottom for a short-term move and sold it, and then it just collapsed with the market for the rest of the day. So even a name like this, like Roku, it doesn't look like much on the daily, but we were able to, accurately, catch a trade. Where do I look to buy Roku tomorrow? Potentially 35.74. Also, do I think? Yes, I do. Today's moving for solar it's a long-term projection. Absolutely. This was your first bull trap, and you're very happy that Mark said take it easy, right? To me, that's the best call I made all day. Thank you for that, Kathy. And I take pride in that. I really take pride in that. Alright, we went over Roku. You also took more puts. That's funny. The net neutrality vote. I have no thoughts on it. Honestly, I think, I don't know. I couldn't imagine anything that would hurt the United States being passed policy wise right now. Just my thoughts. When it comes to the internet, I couldn't imagine. It would screw over too many companies. Thoughts on AIG? Bearish. Thoughts on Maser Robotics after they're being investigated? Bearish. Thoughts on Children's Place? Bullish. Thoughts on Stamps.com? Bearish. Yep. Bear flag rising wedge. Thoughts on WBA? Probably, held up despite CVS dropping. Bullish. Bull flag falling wedge. Bullish WBA. Verizon. Isn't this the channel in which Biker insinuated and we're above it now? Looks like a short. I think Kathy is trying to say wines on Barbara. We'll see though. IP. Oh, whew, what a big move. Yeah, this is just beautiful. You should love this. And as Kathy said in the past week or two, she's happier in cash. And I completely agreed with her, and I still do, even now, that being in cash is smart. Just be patient, wait for your levels. You're not going to find anyone else better out there than the people in this room to catch these bottoms. Just be patient. Thanks, Fareed. I'm very, I pride myself on giving my best. You don't think Netflix is done going down in the long run? Barbara, the perma Netflix bear. I told you, didn't I tell you the other day, Barbara, that you are going to be very happy with what Netflix does? I was prepping you for your smile, Barbara. Like some people on YouTube claiming they made 5,000 a day on penny stocks every day. Sure. That's why they need to, pitch you. Yep, we'll teach you patience, Fareed. Um, I can't really legally answer that, Seth. That's funny, Piker. It always works. That's too good. Alta. Yeah, I think Alta needs to drop in. IDXX. Wow. That looks really nice, Dave. We'll see where this one goes. Love how you bucked the market today. You bought Spider and Apple calls at the top? Yeah. It's one thing I basically, generally, if I'm buying a stock through highs, it works almost every time because there's a breaking news story behind it which justifies doing it. Otherwise, you don't do it. Like, that's the funny thing. Otherwise, you just don't do it. It's easy to say a stock looks good after it's going through highs. Everybody sees it that way. The trick is when it's going down, can you still say it looks good and then buy it for a reversal? Yep. Everybody, every good trader. I don't know one good trader. I already have those set, Ravi. I was just waiting for a down move for long-term swings and long-term swings. I've been setting alerts across the board on all of them. High conviction setups. You know, is my sizing and Stitch Fix not high conviction enough for you? If this thing gets to my target, I could be up like 700,000 on this trade. You know, I'm already up a few 100,000 on it. We're giving them, but this, if you're talking about like a move in Apple, we need a pullback. We need a pullback, and hopefully we'll get it. I'm gonna start dishing out alerts, and I need to set it up. I need to work with T3 to do it. Text. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the. It's a very hard process. Remember, I'm trying to take T3's technology to the next level. I'm trying to say, T3, your technology is not where it needs to be, and you need to keep improving and getting better. That's not a diss on T3. That's a fact. I need to be a better broadcaster. I need to be a better trader. So do you. So do you. If you're listening to this right now, you need to be a better trader. No matter what you think, you can always improve. And it's that one day in which you think you know it all. Unless you're the richest man on the planet and you probably could still learn more, there's no need to really ever give up. So keep learning. Yep, that's going to be fun. My trend line. Generally, Peter, no. Don't use previous day lows to short and previous day highs to buy. The trick is to short it before it hits that day low and to go long before it hits that day high. Once you've mastered that, that's when you'll be in good shape. Otherwise, you're chasing. See? And, okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the NewsBeat Nightly. Happy trading, make money, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the NewsBeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.